The Department of Infrastructure, Ports and Transport has a mandate to oversee infrastructural development in St. Lucia. Over the last few years, we have been engaged in the process of reviewing our strategic plan, and in that process, we have sought to redefine what infrastructure means. Most persons see infrastructure as construction type works, but for us, we have expanded that definition to include other types of infrastructure, networking, organizational structures, a departure from the norm. So over the last few months, we have been very fortunate to have launched our Infrastructure 2030 strategic plan.
And what Infrastructure 2030 is really a strategic plan that speaks to the department in terms of re-energizing the department, reconfiguring the department, and positioning the department to be that dynamic and agile department to address the issues of infrastructure in this country. So it speaks about the restructuring of the department. It deals with the aspect of the legislation, the laws which govern the Department of Infrastructure, which is grounded on a law established in the year 1959, which speaks to the Works and Roads Act, which deals with matters of horse and carriage and pounds and shillings rather than dollars and cents, and a new environment of sustainability, of climate change, etc.
And that plan incorporates all of the various facets of the department. We have a number of agencies, all of them very dynamic in their own right. And we've been able to capture what our strategic priorities are under each of those various agencies. So we can start with transport, for instance. The transport department, we have been doing quite a bit there in terms of trying to be more responsive to our customers in providing them with online services.
Currently, further to our driver's license, which was the first phase, we have now reached our vehicle services. Next in line is our e-testing of our theory examinations. We look forward to that coming online soon.
So whereas once upon a time, persons, everybody was obligated to come to the department to conduct business, a lot of business now can be done online.
We do hope that all our customers take advantage of the online platform to avoid the long lines or waiting time at the department.
I currently serve as the Deputy Chairperson of the St. Lucia Road Transport Board. The board sits on a number of transport-related matters. For instance, approval of minibus route permits. These are new route permits. We also sit on the approval for new taxi application. This process starts with the Department of Tourism, and recommendations are made to the Transport Board, who will grant that approval. The board is also responsible for looking at and identifying a number of traffic-related issues and coming up with some kind of solutions, initiatives to deal with some of the problems that currently exist on our road.
Thanks to our partners, the Caribbean Development Bank, we have a finalized plan for the sustainable road-based public transportation. There, it speaks to enhancing accessibility and efficiency for public transportation, meaning we're going to take care of everybody that is able and everybody who are accessing public transportation. We also have the plan to design a bus terminal, though it's not at its final stage, but we are looking first to pilot the northbound with the intention towards the south. It's going to be a green bus terminal, and we're looking forward to designing and costing.
Strategically, we'll be looking at our legislative agenda for the Transport Division, reviewing the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Act and a number of other pieces of legislation that will help to improve the mandate of the Transport Division, working very closely with other partners like the Traffic Police, the Insurance Council, the Garage Proprietors Association, etc. We have recognized that we need to work together with them because we're providing one complete service.
We have the Insurance Council of St. Lucia. We have the Ministry of Tourism, for which we work closely doing tourism transportation, particularly in our transition from H to TX, which is ongoing right now. We also have the Garage Proprietors Association. We are establishing the standardization of garages. We do have the Department of Sustainable Development and Energy Division, who's collaborating in our shift to EV initiative.
Also, we have the Electrical Division. The Electrical Division has been working very, very hard in retrofitting a number of streetlights around St. Lucia.
Between August 2023 and now, we have retrofitted a total of over 18,000 high-pressure sodium lights into LEDs. Now, there were two types of high-pressure sodium lights on island. There was a 250-watt light that you would mainly find along the national highway. And in the inner communities, or what we refer to as the secondary roads, we had 70-watt high-pressure sodium lights. What we've done in the recent past is to change the 250-watt lights into 75-watt LED lights. And the 70-watt lights that are found along the secondary roads, or should I say the inner communities, we have changed that into 21-watt lights. We have also installed over 1,000 new street lights because, as you know, as many may know, when you install LED lights, because of the fact that they are very directional in nature, they don't produce the blast that the 180 or 270 degree blast of light that high pressure sodium lights are going to produce. So therefore, you find that you have an increased number of dark spots. Now, what we've done in the recent past is to install additional lighting to treat these dark spots. And as we speak, we are in that process. As you can see, that's a major decrease in energy consumption. And this has resulted in us being able to save, on average, about $200,000 every month in our street lighting bill.
We are very proud to say that we've been able to install lighting in the Canaries to Buto area, Sofre. And that is something that had not happened at all. So we were very happy to be able to collaborate with Lucia to provide lighting in that area, which has traditionally been very, very dark.
We've never had street lights there. And only about a month ago, we were able to install something like 52 street lights in that area. So therefore, that problem is completely gone. So therefore, that's one milestone we've accomplished during the course of this year.
As persons will see, again, part of the infrastructure, there have been a number of developments, housing developments, hotel developments, and other types of developments, commercial activity, which means that the electrical infrastructure needs to be up to date, it needs to be upgraded. So we are going to improve our inspectorate to allow us to do those periodic inspections that the law requires us to do.
Now, when it comes to the electrical inspection, there's a particular problem of routine inspections. Now, what we've been able to do this year is to work with quite a few hotel institutions especially, and in ensuring that the electrical installations are up to date.
Also, with the electrical department, we have been having a number of discussions with Lucia and other partners to review the Electricity Supply Act. And very shortly, we expect a new piece of legislation to be tabled in Parliament.
Only recently, I participated in a regional meeting of meteorologists and hydrologists. And that meeting is really about the role of St. Lucia and other islands participating in what I call a regional and global responsibility for our environment.
Most persons just think of the meteorological services as weather forecasting, but they do so much more. And over the last few months, we've been doing quite a bit to upgrade their services.
We have made quite a bit of progress in the area of climate services. By climate services, I mean providing climate information, data, and information in a usable form so that it could help with planning.
They provide very critical service to the aviation industry. And we are also now looking at exploring marine meteorology.
How do we determine, how do we guide, whether it's fishers and as far as the weather is concerned, or even farmers, and all of those areas that the weather impact and climate change impacts, and how do we respond to all of those situations?
That is something that is also going to become very vital for our maritime sector. We are also looking at improving the capacity of the staff in the meteorological services.
The St. Lucia Met Services, in collaboration with international partners, has launched a 2-day Common Alerting Protocol implementation workshop aimed at improving the nation's emergency alert and early warning capabilities. The workshop, which began on January 30th at the Department of Infrastructure's conference room, brought together emergency management experts, meteorologists, and technical specialists to enhance the efficiency of public alerts during disasters and other emergencies. CAP is a standardized approach to emergency alerting that enables government agencies to quickly and effectively disseminate critical information to the public. Kenneth Kerr, Science and Technology Officer at the Caribbean Met Organization headquarters in Trinidad and Tobago, emphasized the importance of the system, describing it as a life-saving tool.
This is quite important, it's critical. Too often you have messages that are not consistently delivered, and so they are not easily understood. The Common Alert Protocol allows for easily understood, actionable, consistent messaging that can be disseminated across all media platforms at the same time. So it will reduce the bulk work that is required to touch every media house, every media platform, and the public in general.
Kerr further noted that CAP has been tested in the past and has demonstrated its effectiveness in improving emergency communication.
It works significantly well across the globe. That is why this is a standard and a recommended practice for all early warning systems. It's not just about meteorology, but all early warning systems. It has been tested in Barbados, it has been tested in Trinidad and Tobago, and it's significantly important and has been a success.
The workshop featured hands-on training, technical demonstrations, and strategic planning discussions to ensure that CAP is successfully implemented across St. Lucia's emergency alert systems. Vigil Saltibus, Acting Director of the Met Services, welcomed the training, explaining the value of CAP in ensuring that the public receives timely, accurate, and verifiable information. She noted that while the Met Services already has its own monitoring unit, CAP will enhance accessibility to crucial alerts for individuals across the country.
It is timely, but we've always had our forecasting unit that has always had that mandate that we have to send out and alert citizens of impending systems. The issue is persons not all the time would understand what's being sent out, not all the time that persons receive it in a timely fashion, and also too that with technology, as technology is rapidly changing and getting more easily accessed, we are seeing that more persons are able to access it when they want, regardless whether we send it out or not. So once it's posted and persons are interested and they notice something and they want to verify, CAP allows them to access that kind of platform and see the relevant information that they need when they need it, and hopefully mitigate all the disastrous results from these kind of events.
Lenita Joseph, Permanent Secretary within the Ministry of Infrastructure, put on record her gratitude to all who made it possible for CAP to be implemented in St. Lucia.
I wish on behalf of the government of St. Lucia to reiterate our gratitude to the World Meteorological Organization and Caribbean Meteorological Organization for enhancing the capacity of common alerting protocols in St. Lucia. Energy and Public Utilities. That is a division that a lot of persons are now becoming familiar with because there has been a lot of discussion with regards to renewable energy, solar, geothermal, wind, etc.
The Energy and Public Utilities division works along with a lot of the stakeholders like Lucia. So we support the implementation of solar PV systems on public buildings. So you will see several solar PV systems on schools, on hospitals, on various public buildings that the department has led the design and implementation of. You will also see several programs that are now being rolled out at the Arthur Lewis Community College that the department was instrumental in supporting the development of. So for instance, the college is rolling out a program on sustainable transport, maintenance of electric and hybrid vehicles. We actually supported them in training their lecturers to receive international certification on maintenance of electric and hybrid vehicles so that they can now pass that knowledge down to the students. We also donated PV equipment to the college to support a training program for electricians on solar PV equipment. So the department is really a catalyst for a lot of the work that is done in sustainable energy in St. Lucia.
We recently observed Energy Awareness Month, and that has helped to bring to the fore a lot of discussion on what opportunities are available to the public in terms of improving their own infrastructure for renewable energy. So as you can tell, we have a very heavy legislative agenda because there's so many. I think in every division, we've had some piece of legislation under review.
So the first notable one I would say is the official launch of the National Energy Policy 2023-2030. This document is the umbrella policy that guides everything that the country seeks to achieve through sustainable energy. Secondly, I would say it's the public consultations on the national electricity legislation that is expected to be tabled before the end of this year. It has been a long road. Over a decade of work has gone into this legislation, and we were able to bring it to the public to receive public feedback on the document to finalize it so that it can now become the overarching framework for sustainable energy and electricity in St. Lucia. We were also successful in mobilizing over $60 million in funding from the World Bank for two major projects. One is an energy efficiency project, which will see the retrofitting of 130 public buildings, including schools and hospitals. That project is also going to see the installation of solar PV systems on all of these facilities, leading to significant savings for government and the wider public. The second project is a utility scale renewable energy project which seeks to support the regulator in the procurement of renewable energy. So once the legislation is passed and it opens up the market for renewable energy, this project is going to support them in this procurement. It is also going to provide training, and it is also going to provide the necessary upgrades to the national grid that would allow us to achieve our targets as far as renewable energy goes.
The government is aggressively moving forward to continue its intentions in tapping into our geothermal capacity in this country. So we have entered into the arrangement with the World Bank. We are now looking at determining what is the actual capacity of that geothermal wealth that we have in St. Lucia. And so the World Bank has given us a grant. So we are now on the verge of commencing that second phase of investigation, which will impact on communities like Belfort and some areas in Fossajack and even Saltibus, where the activities will commence in terms of getting down through slim hole drilling to determine what capacity of geothermal we have in the community. Once St. Lucia can find that capacity, and let's assume the capacity is 30 megawatts, it would mean that St. Lucia now can request companies to present proposals for investing in the generation of electricity from our geothermal facilities.
Persons can well imagine that telecommunications have been pressing ahead at a very fast pace. So we need our legislation to keep up with what is happening globally.
So as we speak, telecoms is one other area where we are now reviewing the Telecommunications Act. And a new electronic communications bill will be presented to the Parliament of St. Lucia It is common legislation within the OECS, and we have gone through a very clinical exercise between ECTEL and the NTRC, the local regulatory authority, and ECTEL, the regional advisory regulator. We have gone through quite a bit discussing the EC bill, the Electronic Communications Bill, to ensure that the environment that we are creating is an environment not for 2001, but an environment for 2030 and beyond because of the advancement of technology. We speak now of AI, and we speak now of other advances within the telecoms industry. There are numerous players, numerous investors who have demonstrated an interest in participating in the telecoms industry in this country. And therefore, as we begin to think of it, we must ensure that we put in place the correct enabling environment that will, one, protect our people, but for the country to benefit socially and economically. There is one utility that we need to pay some attention to, and that is WASCO. And as we speak, the board of WASCO has been asked to prepare a strategic plan. That strategic plan speaks to telling us where are we heading with water. We have a number of things to do. And I speak of the erasing of the deficit in road infrastructure. There's also erasing of the deficit in water infrastructure and water in general. The John Compton Dam, where $60 million was spent to desilt it, has not been desilted, even though the money was spent on a project that attempted to desilt but couldn't get to the core of the matter. If Roseau, that is the John Compton Dam, is suitably desilted, and we have a sustained program of desilting which forms part of the operations of the dam, a new raw water line taken to Thibbles plant, and Thibbles plant is operating at 100% capacity, we will see a phenomenal increase in the quality of water and the reliability of water in the country.
And of course, there is the Road Infrastructure Division, which most persons are familiar with.
This year was designated, or is designated, as the year of infrastructure. The year that the government focuses on infrastructure, be it that infrastructure captures a very wide avenue.
The Road Infrastructure Division has a number of units within it. We have the Public Buildings and Grounds, which is responsible for maintaining all public buildings and the grounds of those buildings, especially, the Prime Minister's residence, Government House, and so on. We also have what most persons will refer to it as a potholing unit, but within our confines here is the road maintenance unit. They're the ones doing the potholing and road maintenance and so on. We also have the Materials Lab. But the Materials Lab, we've been working very, very closely with them towards accreditation. The lab does tremendous work in conducting tests to determine whether or not the materials, the specifications of materials being used for reconstruction or other types of construction are acceptable.
The Materials Lab, which is the official materials testing lab for the government of St. Lucia, is presently under rehabilitation. And the rehabilitation that is taking place is to give the materials laboratory greater capacity to undertake the testing of construction materials. But in the new legislation, when it is passed, then the whole issue of material testing will be strengthened so that even in the construction of private homes and private businesses, all of those businesses will have to conform to certain procedures and regulations to be able to use materials only if they are proven to be capable of the construction work that they intend to do. So not only government works should have to be tested, not only government projects will have to be tested by the lab to determine the quality of material, but all works will be called upon to be tested. So we are going through some upgrading the laboratory in upgrading the equipment to get more advanced equipment for testing of material.
We have improved on the structure, on the plans, and it is much more created in the way to provide confidentiality of clients and the security of the work that we do here. So before it was more open, but now we have done it in such a way that there's more privacy for technicians to do their work without disturbances. We've also improved on our equipment that will enhance on our capabilities performing our tests. One that we take pride in is the drill rig that we received, and is a rig that is able to drill a little soil, so it takes our samples up to 100 feet, and so we're very proud of this specific equipment. We got some new equipment like our ship box. This is new. It's our new model one compared to what we had before, and ignition oven that we use today to be the between contents of assault. So this was the equipment that we have received.
We also have the Dennery Mechanical Workshop that has been doing tremendous work also. They maintain the fleet of vehicles within the department. We've been doing quite a bit to improve the capacity of the staff at the workshop.
To date, we have been able to secure our garage a little better with our shutters. Yes, we have been able to get them installed, so our garage is totally contained when we're not around, adding to the security level. We got a new vehicle at the workshop for the courier and fueling and so forth of our machines on site. We were able to acquire pruners to assist the units out there to maintain the vegetation along the roadways. Also, we were able to get a new walker plate for the potholing unit south to assist them with the repairs and patches, and to also alleviate the rental of equipment on the government side of things. And currently, as we speak, we are doing some rehabilitation of our assets, namely dump trucks, painting them over because the rust and have the chopper a little bit dilapidated. So we are working on that right now.
We want to engage in training in drones, the use of drones, for instance. One of the things we've noticed is that after the passage of a significant or severe weather event, persons are anxious to go out. But unless and until our staff goes out and does the initial assessment, the damage assessment, the all clear cannot be given. Persons, unfortunately, do not adhere to the instructions, and it becomes an impediment for us because you have persons who are out there on the roads and you're trying to do an assessment, and there may still be danger. Even though the severe weather event has passed, there is still danger because there may be fallen lines, there may be fallen electrical lines, there may be bridges that are compromised, there may be occasion for flash flooding. So we have to go out there and do those assessments before we can give the all clear. That puts staff at risk because you never know what you are exposing the staff to. So we're trying to mitigate against those risks, and in doing so, we're giving them the opportunity to be trained in the use of drones so that you're not putting them in physical harm.
We see that the use of drones in post-disaster recovery or management, also utility inspection, also bridge inspection and project evaluation inspection as well, where in certain areas you may not be able to put a human to go physically on foot and take footage. So you could always use a drone. So that would enhance the safety operation of the operation more or less, so you don't put people in harm's way. Now for the government, a lot of areas we could use drones to get what we need. Example, mapping. Okay, you send a drone out, you program the flight path, and you send it out to collect data for you. So with that data now, if we have during post-disaster, you have an idea of what obtained prior. So you know what you're looking for when you send the drone out, especially settlement management. So for example, let's say we, Abin Pastor area, if you're familiar, there was this landslide many years ago, which wiped out a generation. So persons who may not have known of the settlement there would never knew there were houses. But you now, which had this footage prior with your drone, you can go back to the footage and see what is it exactly was there. So you know what you will be looking for when you go there for your emergency crews and what have you. Also, components like bridges, sometimes it may be a little bit difficult for you, a person, to go under and climb or get into crevices that for you to see if there are any structural damages. Okay, you could send a drone with a gimbal or payload that can afford you that type of dexterity and also vision to see those kind of cracks. Utility management, we could look at Lucia, for example. We could send in the aircraft into the structures, load those with the transmission and distribution of power, send the drone up into the joints and see if there's any compromise. So there's a lot of areas where the use of drones will be very effective.
We're very pleased that Cabinet has given us the go-ahead to review the maritime sector. There's a draft maritime bill that is before the Attorney General's chambers for review. So as you can see, we have a very heavy legislative agenda, a number of bills that are under review. And we're hoping also very shortly to have engagement with the Works and Road Act, which is very, very dated. And as you can well imagine, as a Department of Infrastructure, we must have a very robust legal framework for the Works and Roads infrastructure.
The Year of Infrastructure speaks to the execution of our road maintenance projects, the reconstruction of our roads and rehabilitation of our public buildings. We have done many projects this year. Some of those in the north, for instance, we've done the Beauce-Joux-Kaimaje Road, the Rivière-Mita Road. In Central, Castries Central, we are currently doing the Chaussee Road. We intend to undertake Jeremy Street and Waterworks Road as well. In Dennery, we've done Austin Hill. In the south, Zabo Bellevue is currently under reconstruction, as well as the Fosse Jacques Road. We have undertaken some slope stabilization projects as well in various communities. To mention a few, the Etangs retaining wall, as well as the Lapense retaining wall, which should commence very soon. In Canaries, also Riverside Road, we have completed a retaining wall along the Canaries River. In Prale, there is a major failed culvert, and we are in the process of completing procurement to commence the reconstruction of this culvert.
In Vieux-Fort South, we were able to do the St. Jude Highway, and we're now looking at the connecting route that is the Larissus Road. And the continuation of St. Jude Highway from the Wimbledon Leeward Brewery down to the Massey supermarket in the south of the island. We have also been looking at other roads in the south of the island. Cedars Heights. We have gone into Cedars Heights and we have done one stretch of road in Cedars Heights, reconstruction of that road, a pavement strength of 15 years. And there are a number of other lanes or other roads connecting, feeder roads at Cedar Heights, which are connecting to the main road, and those are down for commencement anytime from now. In Labrie, we have just completed one of the major roads, the Majumel Road. That road has just been completed. We have been working on it for the last 2 years, but we have been able to achieve it within the year of infrastructure. In Dennery North, and I'm sure many people who have traversed this East Coast Road will recognize that we have dealt with the paving of the road from Lacaille all the way to Larissus. That is a major piece of work which was done in the valley, and the contractor who undertook that work has also factored into the contract a maintenance program by maintaining the environment of the road, which is so important. The drainage, and also the landscaping of that road. So at least people can feel an atmosphere, a welcoming atmosphere when they drive through that section of the road.
Some of our biggest challenges faced would be aging infrastructure. Many of our roads, bridges, and buildings are old and they need regular maintenance or replacement in some instances. Natural disasters is another challenge where hurricanes, floods, heavy rainfall can cause severe damage to especially the bridges and our infrastructure that are located in vulnerable zones. Limited funding is also a challenge where we don't have sufficient resources sometimes to respond in a timely manner to some of our much needed infrastructure that requires repair. Urban growth is another significant challenge. As more people move to towns and cities, the pressure on the roads, the water system, and public facilities increases. This now warrants more connections to private dwellings, and it puts a serious strain on our infrastructure, particularly during the construction phase. We also have challenging landscape. Our beautiful but rugged terrain makes building and maintaining infrastructure more complex and expensive in many instances. Infrastructure 2030 is really geared at modernizing our infrastructure to improve its quality, resilience, and efficiency. There are a few things that we have taken into consideration in the Infrastructure 2030. For instance, smarter roads and bridges. Under this, we're looking at using advanced material and material that would last longer to withstand climate change and be more climate resilient. We're also looking at installing sensors to monitor bridges and roads in real time to ensure that they stay safe and functional. What we've done is build back better. We build in mind that being mindful that climate change is upon us, and we ought to build structures that are sustainable and resilient. All our bridges are designed to withstand a 1 in 100 year storm, which is a flood event that has a probability of 1% chance of occurring in any given year. This design helps ensure that the structure can withstand flooding and reduce the risk of damage.
In efforts to bolster the standards of the island's construction industry and in support of blue-collar workers, the St. Lucia Development Bank and the Ministry of Infrastructure on November 6th hosted a Contractors Symposium where local contractors and other stakeholders were invited to receive information aimed at formalizing the sector by enforcing the need for contractors to make use of best industry practices, thereby increasing the quality and quantity of their work. This was hosted under the theme Fostering Synergy, Shaping More Progressive, Efficient and Sustainable Contractors. Chairman of the Board of Directors of the St. Lucia Development Bank, Daryl Raymond, in his opening remarks, highlighted the key importance of this collaborative effort in fulfilling the goal of the infrastructure sector.
Ladies and gentlemen, this symposium has brought together contractors from all over the island to partner with key suppliers, technical experts, and other industry leaders to discuss a wide range of topics, all geared towards improving the quality and sustainability of our nation's infrastructure. We all appreciate that the construction sector is dynamic and ever evolving. Therefore, our contractors must remain abreast with best practices on issues such as occupational health and safety, procurement and supply chain management, climate resilience and sustainability, quality control and assurance strategies, and project management techniques. A thorough appreciation of these key issues is critical in ensuring that our contractors grow in their capacity to deliver both public and private infrastructure projects of the highest quality and of global standards.
Minister of Infrastructure Stevenson King underscored the importance of such an undertaking, especially for those just starting off in the industry.
What we have today is an industry that many are entering without formal training or formal education. They are not engineers, they are not architects, they are not electricians, they are not really in there, but they've seen an opportunity to enter into the industry and to provide a service that they believe that they can profit on. But in many instances, while they may have some talent, they may be a mason or carpenter, electrician, plumber, and they believe that they can get into the industry and succeed, there's some basic understanding that is required that many of them don't see in the implementation of their projects.
With the year of 2024 dubbed the Year of Infrastructure, the senior minister says quality and standards are at the top of his priority list when it comes down to the construction industry. Attendees were exposed to a number of lessons on various disciplines, including project management and the bill of quantities. This symposium, according to the senior minister, will allow contractors to build on their knowledge of proper resource allocation to facilitate the development of the nation's infrastructure.
One of the interesting things about this department is the fact that we do not keep normal or regular working hours like everybody else. As a matter of fact, especially when you have severe weather events or there's an emergency situation, when everybody else is at home and in bed, we have to go out and respond. Heavy rainfall, there's a land slippage somewhere, there's a culvert that's failing, the staff respond immediately. It's not just sending a machine out there, you are sending a human being with a family, they've left their family at home to respond to these events.
I'm sure members of the public can recall or probably are very much aware of the intensity of our road safety program. A number of guardrails have been installed throughout the country at points where we believe are areas of extreme danger to motorists and pedestrians. You have seen an increase in the number of street signs going up, interdirectional signs, traffic signs going up throughout the country. I'm sure you've also seen an intensity in street markings. So quite a bit of work has been done. Quite a bit of work is being done, and quite a bit of work will be done as the government unfolds its program for road infrastructure. We have commenced work in Fonsejac, Soufrière, and some of the roads within the Soufrière community in the town of Soufrière to bring relief to people who have been experiencing poor road conditions in that community. We have done the Venus Ancillary Road also. That road has been completed. Work has commenced on the Lapnet Road in Niku. In Dennery, a number of roads in, streets, short streets in the village, Church Street and others in the village will be attended to. We already have made the necessary financial arrangements and allocations to undertake those roads. There are a number of areas in Chazelle that we hope to look at. And while they're on the program, we do not have a scheduled date for commencement, but one of them is Gayabois, and we do have a number of others in the community that we will look at. In the Castries Southeast constituency, a number of roads will be looked at. We're looking at the Odsa Road from Lacroix Hill all the way to the Odsa Junction. We're looking at a connector road, Asuba Road also. That road will be looked at going forward. And there are other roads within the community which the district rep has requested. All of those roads will be given positive consideration. In Babuno, there is another road, again another Asuba. That road is down for a reconstruction, and it is a road which was started previously, but now we are ready to do the full reconstruction of the road. That road will be attended to. In Castries North, for example, there are a few communities where there are still roads to be done. We have just completed a small community road in Sunny Acres. There are about 3 of them to be done. We have just done the first one, and there are 2 more to be done. In Chase Gardens, Coyote, there are 2 small community roads to be constructed. Those roads should start very soon. We completed a number of roads within the Castries East constituency. The Marshall Road was done and completed in the year of infrastructure. We have just started work on the Bacatel Road, and that road is being redesigned, reconstructed, and improved with sidewalks to allow for both pedestrian and vehicular traffic in a very comfortable manner. In Cicero, as we speak, we have just completed the Mon Bakery Road, which is a road which runs behind the Mon Bakery, And we have also completed Old Kentucky Road, which is the second road, the subsidiary road behind the Mount Bakery. In Marigot, whereas some work was done in 2022 after the government got into office, we are returning to Marigot to do some major works, continuing that road all the way to the bay towards the hotel down there, and then down into this eastern end of the community to bring a level of relief in the constituency of Castries South. I did mention what we have done in Groseley, apart from the causeway, which we rehabilitated, the cap to Groseley Road, which we have rehabilitated, and now we're looking at the way forward. The way forward is to capitalize on the funding by the Kuwait government, KFED, to do the Julian R. Hunt Highway from the Groseley Junction all the way to the Shock Bridge. It will be done in 3 phases. It will start first and foremost with the commencement of work on the Vieux-Secret-Norbert-Corinth Road. That will start even before we commence the work on the Julian R. Hunt Highway. The work from the Vieux-Secret, it is Monchy, Vieux-Secret-Norbert, Corinth, that work will help us improve the quality of that roadway in that region. The Shock Bridge will be replaced. A new Shock Bridge will be constructed using a bridge known as the Atlas Bridge. We are now in the process of concluding the invitations to tender for companies who are interested in participating in this major project to begin the first phase of the project once approval is granted and the funds are ready to be disbursed to build the abutments for that bridge. The superstructure will be brought in, the Atlas Bridge, as I indicated, a falling bridge to accommodate the enhancement, the improvement of the Sir Julian R. Hunt Highway. Now, having said this, what will roll out after those roads have been completed, in the spirit of the Strategic Plan for Infrastructure 2030, is a new modality, a new modus operandi by the Ministry of Infrastructure, the Department of Infrastructure, a new way of doing things. So once roads are completed and developed, then that maintenance regime will fall into place to ensure that the roads are maintained properly, but most importantly, the life of the road will be extended. So these are, in a nutshell, a preview of what is to continue in the future and the approaches that have been used by the Department of Infrastructure in meeting the dreams and aspirations of the people of this country and fulfilling all of their needs within an enabling environment that will allow all to participate and to be satisfied.